I've been canning like crazy. Today, I'm making pickled green tomato, and that's one of my favorites. It's fantastic on veggie burgers, as a garnish. It's just a delectable treat, and it's a very, very old recipe, so let's do it. I use a ball of onions and ball of green tomatoes. I also use some rock salt for that, very pretty pink salt. I like to use apple cider vinegar, bay leaves, and allspice. Could also add this. So what I do is I'm going to slice the tomatoes and slice the onions and put some salt on them. I slice the tomatoes east to west because I like how pretty they look. So let's do it. I aim for less than 1/4 inch in tomatoes and in onions. Next, I put them in a bowl or in a pot in layers. All of that stuff. Very good, very good. After I put the sliced tomatoes in here, I sprinkle salt on each layer. So I'm salting the tomatoes now, just like I would with eggplants. Generous with it. Oh my gosh, the cat is here. No! Are you a blooper? Cooking with blooper. Hey blooper, I have clean hands. OMG. Ginger, can you vacate this corner of the kitchen, por favore? Go pooty cat, go pooty cat. Chop chop, Ginger. Thank you. Layer of tomatoes, sprinkle with salt. Next, layer of onions, sliced exactly the same. Onion is what gives it a really, really, really good flavor. And put a little salt on the onion. Tomato that's a little more red, that's still okay. It's all good. It's biological perfection. It will taste yummy. This is one of those zebra tomatoes. It's yellow and green and very juicy and a little sour. Delicious tomato. Oh, this one is the paste. Amish paste. Make good tomato sauce from this one. Okay. And a sprinkle of salt. Next, onion. Oh, look at this. This I'll use for pizza. Voila. Now let me cut up one more. Doesn't have to be perfect. You do the best you can, honey. And put some salt on the onion. Pretty and green. Okay. The juices are already coming out. It's like a tomato onion lasagna. I'm going to cover it like this and leave it outside overnight so all the bitterness and all the juices come out of the tomatoes and onions. Tomorrow I'm going to spill that stuff out. It's the next morning and I'm draining the tomatoes and onions from the juice that came out from them overnight. This stuff is a little bitter and salty, and that's garbage. Now I am making the marinade for the pickled green tomatoes. I like to use apple cider vinegar. I like 1 part of vinegar to 2 parts of water. So that's what I'm going to do. So in it goes. Some people like straight vinegar, and that's cool. Some people try it out by taking a tiny little glass and putting a little bit of vinegar and then filling it with one more part of water, tasting it and saying, oh, I like this. 1-to-1 is good for me. So that's that. And 2 parts of water that I'm going to measure with this bottle. 1 part of water. Filtered water or spring water is much better. And 2nd part of water. 1 to 2. 1 vinegar, 2 parts water. And now I'm going to put in my spices. I like bay leaves and allspice. I don't add any additional salt because the tomatoes are still a little bit salty, and that's enough. And now I'm going to boil this so the flavors have a chance to come out of the spices. Voila! The marinade has come to a boil. I'm lowering the heat to medium and I'm going to put the tomatoes in. The way I like to put the tomatoes in is with my hand. I could gently do it and I don't get splashed by the hot liquid. See the tomatoes, jalapenos, and I'm going to put enough so they're under the marinade. Now, what we're looking for is for these tomatoes to start turning from green to yellow. Once they turn yellow color, they're ready to put in the jars. I stir them occasionally to see what's going on the bottom. Now the tomatoes are ready to put in jars. They've turned to a yellow color. You can see the difference. Yellow, green, and they're very hot and they're ready to be put in jars. The jars should be extremely well washed. The lids should be sterile and the lids and the rims should be very dry. I fill it to the rim and pour the marinade to fill the jar. I wipe the rim and put the lid on very tightly. And next, each jar will get a bay leaf. I leave them next to the hot pot and I cover them with a towel.